presidential campaign that seems to be on life support. Here's that headline. Is DeSantis going to drop out of the race on January 15th? The Hill is reporting that DeSantis campaign insiders are saying if the Florida governor loses the Iowa caucuses to President Trump, which is more or less a foregone conclusion, he's going to either drop out of the race that night or make his announcement the next morning. Now, these same sources are telling The Hill that they believe DeSantis will then very begrudgingly endorse President Trump for his second term, which will actually be his third term. But that's another issue. If it's over for DeSantis, is his campaign staff or his strategy to blame, or both? Joining me now with personal insight is public relations and media strategist Adam Weiss of AMWPR. Welcome, Adam, to the show. You know, Ron DeSantis is very vehemently denying this. He is saying absolutely it is not true, that this was put out there. Basically, he didn't say this, but by Nikki Haley, by his political enemy, who is currently Nikki Haley. Although Nikki Haley, in return, is a sort of suggesting that if she and Ron DeSantis got together on a ticket, they could maybe take on Trump. I think Nikki's running about 14%, DeSantis is running about 16%, Donald Trump running upward of 50%. What do you make of all these rumors and innuendo?
I think even if you took all the other candidates combined, you still don't reach the pie necessary to topple Trump after all these years of, Trump is like the Michael Jordan or the Mickey Mantle of baseball that's been hit over the head and he's making the comeback. You're not going to knock off the base that he's created over these years, no matter what we do, right? I want to go back a few years ago. It was March of 2021. I was at I believe it's the last fundraiser that Trump hosted for the governor. And this is only 2 months after January 6th, when Trump bitterly lost that election. Here he is. People are starting to get arrested, rounded up. And he hosted a fundraiser for DeSantis at Mar-a-Lago. It was a small little affair. But this kind of sums it up, what I believe is the failure of the campaign and what the difference is. We're at this fundraiser. There's maybe 80 people there. I'm trying to chat with the governor, and we all pay decent money to be there. And I couldn't get anything out of it. I have no memories of the governor. Even though I spoke to him, there was nothing really that I can remember. What do we have in life? We have memories. I can't remember what he said back. It was so meaningless. And you would think at this moment, you have this small group of people supporting you, spending money there. He'd say something, nothing. My dad was there with me, let he rest in peace, and he took a photo with the governor. But the one thing stood out at this event, Trump saw my father in the distance. He waved to me. He says, "Is that your dad?" He said, "Get him over here. Let's take a photo." And that stood out from that event. And that's typical of the difference in the personalities because, the retail politics that DeSantis has been doing for the last year or year and a half or so is not working at all because he should be way higher in the polls than Nikki Haley. So kind of that sums up the difference. We have a great marketer, we have a great campaigner, we have a good governor, but it didn't translate into politics 101, which he needed to do to even come close to Trump.
Right. Right. My spare time is spent fundraising, and I do it for free. I don't take money for it. I just do it. And I raised a lot of money for Ron DeSantis, and I raised a lot of money for Donald Trump. And I can, to this day, text Donald Trump and say, hey, here's somebody who works really hard for you or made a major donation to you. Or even if it wasn't major, I can text Donald Trump and say, hey, the J6 families are in town, and I'm bringing them to Mar-a-Lago tonight. Can you come by and say hi? Get a response immediately. I texted him on Friday, Adam, right here from the show, and told him what our audience was thinking about all of the J6 activities he was doing. He responds immediately to me, thanking everyone and calling our J6 prisoners hostages, as they rightly are. And, I did the same thing with Ron DeSantis. I raised some money for him once Donald Trump began to endorse him because he was losing, and that was the fact. Never could get a call back from Ron DeSantis. And it's not about the money. It's that I did this out of my own time and talent, out of the goodness of my heart, and that the people that trusted me to say this is a candidate you should put your time and talent behind, right? I let them down. That's what it comes down to. I let them down because here is a candidate who is never responsive to voters in Florida, who right now is letting Florida be sunk with crazy through the roof insurance rates that are destroying homeowners. But if you ask DeSantis folks in Iowa, Adam, they will say they are going to win that state. They say Ron DeSantis' ground game is his secret weapon and that he's unbeatable. So what do you say back to them?
I say it's not going to happen. You know, you can wishful thinking. You don't want to, obviously, they don't want to say we're going to lose, but, you know, it comes down to the popularity of Donald Trump. And he's been for 7 years. He's been out there. He's been in the news every single day. You can't beat that kind of news. He's staying in the news nonstop. And DeSantis, wasn't his time. He should have just waited his turn. You know, that's kind of why Trump is so bitter, right? He stood there at that fundraiser March of 21, supporting DeSantis all the way. Yeah. And here he is. He couldn't wait his turn. He would have been a hero for the right. He would have been the next guy in line. Trump wins or loses, he would have been the next one. So he should have just waited. You know, he'll probably drop out. Why lose? Why have the headlines if you lose Iowa and then have a second headline you lose New Hampshire? Better off dropping out. It's okay to lose. A lot of great presidents, a lot of ex-governors have lost and come on to win again.
Yeah, well, DeSantis is now he couldn't run for dog catcher. I don't believe ever. As my girlfriend Olivia put it when she commented, I saw on one of DeSantis's campaign commercials on social media, she said, "You had a golden bridge to the presidency in the next election, and you burned it down all by yourself." And it is absolutely true. Adam Weiss, as always, appreciate you being here. Always careful insight. We appreciate it so much. Coming up, did Ghislaine Maxwell attend Chelsea?